Guys, I'm Amiluako by name. Welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'll be explaining email authentication record. So what does email authentication mean? This is the act of verifying the authenticity of email sender. So when we receive an email in our inbox, we need to be sure that the sender is a permitted user to send email with the domain. And why do we need to do this? This is to prevent phishing attack or being spoofed, which means using the pretending to be someone else just because to get an important information. And these are the things being used by hackers. So with email authentication record, we can be sure that the any email coming from that domain is the sender is allowed to send email. So what are the email authentication record that we have? So we have three major email authentication record, which I'll be explaining. We have the SPF, we have the DMARC, we have the DKIM, the SPF. So to explain this proper, this sender policy frame, I'll be using this picture. I represent this picture to explain. Now, SPF means sender policy framework. So this authenticity is being verified with the IP of the email sender. What do I mean? So let's say I want to send an email. So when I want to send an email using this domain, then my server, this is the outgoing mail server, that is the server that will be carrying my email to the receiver. With this mail server, there's an IP, internet protocol, that is attached to this mail server. So before this email get to the receiver inbox, the recipient inbox, the inbound mail server of this receiver will verify that if this email is actually the IP that is attached to this mail server or this email is part of the listed IP. So if this check is done and it verified that okay, the IP that is attached to this email on this mail server is allowed, is part of the listed one, then that email will definitely get to the receiver inbox. But if after doing the checks, the SPF record fails, which shows that this mail server, the IP that is attached to it is not part of the listed IP on the mail server, then that means the email will jump into the spam of the receiver. Same thing with domain keys, DKIM, which means domain keys identifier mail, from the word keys. So it means when I send an email, the inbound, that is the receiver mail server, we check the email, because this DKIM, it means that this email is attached with a digital signature, with a digital key, which is cryptographic, something like this, is attached to this email. So when this email is coming and get to the receiver mail server, it's going to check if it matches with the one that sent the email. So if the inbound mail server check the digital signature from the mail server that this email is coming from and does not match, then it will fail, and that email will jump to either the spam or trash of the receiver. But if the the um the key, the digital signature passes is matches with with the sender, then definitely it's going to jump into the inbox of the receiver. So domain keys use key, SPF use IP, and then we have the third one, which is domain-based message authentication, reporting, and conformance, DMARC. How does DMARC work? DMARC work in this scenario. Now, this is the mail server that is receiving this email. Where we are going to set a DMARC policy that says, okay, if this email that is coming, if it fails the SPF checks, if it fails the DKIM checks, then if we pick approved, it means that we can allow this email to jump to our inbox. But if we say, okay, if it fails, then it should be quarantined, then that email will jump down to the spam. But if we say, okay, if it fails both the SPF checks and the DKIM, you reject it, that means it's going to block the email, meaning that this email will not get to the receiver at all. And yeah, so those are the three major authentication email. I want to show us an email. So I sent an email from my domain datalover.co.uk, and I send it to my Gmail account, and this is the subject. Now look at the SPF, which means that it passed with IP, just like I said that SPF uses IP. But look at the DKIM, it says fails, meaning that this domain, when I was sending this email, for the digital signature, the key that is attached to this email, when it was checked by the receiver, which is this Gmail, anoladepo@gmail.com, my server, mx Google, it found out that probably there's a mismatch. It doesn't match my key, my digital key from my domain. When checked from this Gmail server, it doesn't match. Probably it shows that maybe during the transmission there has been an issue, so it's going to fail. So that is what which means that it is possible for an email to pass an SPF failed DKIM. So we don't use SPF alone to verify the authenticity of email. We use both the SPF, DKIM, and most importantly, DMARC. This DKIM failed. So right now, let's get started on how we can actually provision DKIM records and DMARC records on our domain. Before that, if I go to this site, MX Toolbox, I can actually check some stuff about my domain. So if I click on DNS lookup, and majorly I want to check my DMARC. Okay, let me check my SPF record first. It shows that this SPF has been published, and the reason why I'm having my SPF published, we saw in the email that my SPF has been published, right? It's because when I was adding my domain to my M365, I actually update that. So if I check my let me check my DMARC. Let's see what we have in my DMARC record. So say this DMARC record is not published. If I check my DKIM also, DKIM lookup, same thing with DMARC. So it means the only email authentication record that has been provisioned was SPF. So let's get started on how to do DMARC and DKIM. So if I go to my Microsoft Admin Center and I scroll down to security, under Admin Center security, and then scroll down to email and collaboration. Excuse me. Email and collaboration. Alright, done that. Yeah. Then scroll down to policies and rules. Go to thread policy. And then just scroll down to email authentication settings, and then we have our DKIM. So we have a lot of domains in this tenant. So this is my domain that I'll be using, datalover.co.uk. So I'm going to enable this, and this will work immediately, and that is because I just disabled this DKIM not quite long, just to show us how we can do this, so it will provision on time. But I'm going to show us what we are going to get when we are doing it for the first time. So what I really need before I enable it is that if I scroll down here, this host name selector 1 and host name selected 2, those are the main keys that I need to update my DKIM in my DNS server or in my DNS. So I will just copy this one first, copy, and then go to Upbound. That is where I got my domain. So and I'm going to add another DNS record. So for DKIM, it's going to be CNS or CNAME, sorry. So, and I'm going to paste what I copy, and then go back to it again. Am I in the right place? Oh, sorry, that should be yeah. So I'm going to copy this also. Control C, come back here, and then paste. Having done that for the first one, so I'm going to click on add. So I will do the same for the second one also. Leave it as CNAME, then come and do for the selector 2 also. Control C, come back here, add, come here again, Control C, and then I'm going to paste, and then I'm going to add. So those are the two things that is needed to add to this DNS. So now let's say you are doing it for the first time. This is what we are going to get. So I'm going to use this this domain. If I click on this domain and I click on enable, let's see the error I'm going to get. You are going to get this error. You don't have to be scared. The most important thing that you need from this error is just select your selector 1, copy, paste, come back here to selector 1 again. What I just did, just do the same, that's all. So now, having done that, so I'm going to enable it now. Enable. Yeah, so now if I check my let me see if this has provisioned. So DMARC lookup. Okay, is here. Oh, so the DKIM. Oh yeah, let's go for the DMARC. So we've not done the DMARC. So for the DMARC, I'm going to use the authenticator DMARC generator. Sorry, so there's an email. There's a website for that. Just type DMARC record generator. So when we have this DMARC record generator, just input your domain and come down here to pick the policy that you want. As I've explained, we have none, we have quarantine, we have reject, None will mean that if the SPF and the DKIM is fails, then it will move to inbox. Quarantine means if it fails, the SPF, the DKIM fails, let it move to spam, and the reject means it should be blocked. That means it will not get to the inbox of the receiver. So if I click on quarantine, you will notice there's a change here, P quarantine. If I click on none, see that it's changing. So for the sake of this video, I'll be going for none, just for the sake of analysis, and then I can include the email that I want it to have the DMARC report to be sent to. So what I just need here is let me just copy this and go to and then add another DNS record, and for DMARC is txt text record, and then underscore DMARC, and then I'm going to paste. So I'm going to add. Okay, so let me check this again. If good, so we see that the DMARC is published already. So to check if the DMARC and the DKIM has been done, I'm going to send an email, and let's see what we are going to get. So I'll just go down to my data lover tenant. This is my Gmail account, so I'll be sending email authentication. So let me send. So let me go down to my Gmail and see what we got. Good. So now to check the analysis or the email header, just click on here. Immediately you open the email and then click on show original, and then you can see from this that the SPFF pass, DKIM pass, and the DMARC also pass. There is more that we can also learn from this email header. If I copy this and then I move down to my MX toolbox and click on analyze header, if I paste this and I click on analyze header, you will see that every of this DMARC, everything has been provisioned. So from there we can learn few things before I end this video. So from here we can see the server, the movement of my email. It started from this server to this server and then to my Gmail server, which is ms.google. So we can always check the movement of the email, and then we can also look at the IP. If you want to check the IP locator of where this email is coming from, you can also check it. And then important things that we also need to take note here is we see the DMARC has been published, is that sometimes for hackers the return path which shows that if this email bounce back, it should return to this email. For some hackers it will be different, name from, this is datalover.co.uk, but if you check some hackers or some people that that wants to try something funny, you know what I mean, there's always inconsistency. The domain name will be different from, you see different domain name. So from there we can also verify if this email is coming from the right sender. What other things? Okay, let me stop here for now. So in the upcoming videos I will try and see if I can get an email header analysis where we are going to look at the details of all of this. Thank you for watching. See you next time.